Welcome, everybody. Happy St. Pat's Day to everybody that's here and watching us at home. For those watching at home, this meeting is being broadcast on Channel 8, 1071, and also on YouTube. We do have a visitor listed here. I believe George Guyton is our first and only speaker in the program. So, George, if you could come down.
You take a quorum?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hold on a second. Let me just go ahead and establish a quorum. Mr. Pina.
Here.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Here.
Ms. Oliver.
Here.
Mr. Gomes.
Here.
Ms. Centello.
Yes.
And I am here as well, so we do have a quorum now.
This is AZAC.
Good evening, Mayor.
Let me take my glasses off. Maybe I
Present.
can't see with the glasses. That's what the problem is.
Here.
Ms. Azak, you're here as well.
Thank you.
So welcome. Well, you weren't here the other day. That's probably what happened.
Some of us are allowed to be sick, so thank you.
No. All right, so we do have a quorum, Mr. Guyton. It's been a long 24 hours. You know, I had a city council meeting that's still going, I think. Gotcha.
Good evening, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is George Guyton, and I'm here today to seek clarity, accountability, and fairness. I want to begin by asking a very simple question. What are the official procedures from removing an employee who has been hired through a contract, has passed a Corey background check, and has already been cleared to work within Brockton public school systems? I ask this because after working in the school system for about a month and performing my duties to fidelity, I was suddenly removed from my position. The reason given was an email sent by a lieutenant containing a news article about an arrest 14 years ago. For me, this raises serious concerns. If the school district has conducted a Corey check, cleared me to work with students, then what is the purpose of that process if an article about something already known and already reviewed can suddenly override it without conversation, due process, or even an explanation? For the past 12 years, my work in this community has been about one thing: serving young people. I founded a nonprofit organization that uses basketball to reach youth in underserved and poverty-stricken communities. Through that work, I have provided mentorship, training, and safe environments for kids who often need guidance the most. For the past 8 years, I have also served as the Director of Basketball Operations and Trainings at the Dana Barrows Basketball Club located in Stoughton. In that role, I have worked with thousands of young athletes from Brockton and surrounding communities, helping them grow not just as players, but as people. My work in the city has also not been hidden. I organized a walk against gun violence here in Brockton that was covered by the Enterprise. The event brought the community together, addressed a problem that affects young people every single day. I also have held back-to-school events and school supply giveaways, all with permits issued by the city of Brockton, making sure families in need had the resources their children needed to start school ready to succeed. This is the work I've dedicated my life to. I consider myself what I call a self-liberator, someone who understands that circumstances in life do not have to define your future, someone who believes in advocating for young people in our community so they can see possibilities beyond the environments they may grow up in. But what is difficult to understand is how someone who has spent over a decade pouring into the youth of this city can still face barriers created by individuals whose passion may not truly be about serving young people. Because ultimately, that's why we are all here. Young people in Brockton need mentors. They need leaders. They need people who have lived experiences and can help guide them away from the mistakes and challenges that exist in our communities. Some go through difficult things in life and continue down that same path, while others learn from what they have been through, they grow, and they dedicate themselves to helping the next generation avoid those same problems. I stand here today not as the person I was 14 years ago, but as the man who has spent the last 12 years building programs, mentoring youth, and creating opportunities for young people in the city. And the truth is, our young people are always watching. They watch to see whether the system believes people can grow, change, and give back to their community. Because if we tell them their past will always define them, then we are closing the very doors we are asking them to walk through. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, Mr. Guyton. Madam Secretary, Madam Clerk, please.
Thank you. Roman numeral 3 is the report of the Superintendent of Schools. Item A is teaching and learning, and we'll start with the student representative report.
Good evening, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm loving the green from everyone in the school community. Good evening to Mayor Rodriguez, Dr. Tiliani, Mr. Gomez, Mr. Pina, Mr. Rodriguez, Ms. Oliver, Ms. Centeo, and Ms. Asak. I want to say thank you all for having me and the ability to share what's going on in Brockton High School in the last few weeks. Starting off with sports, I would say Brockton Track has set the bar for the year in terms of athletic performances. We sent 8 athletes from the boys track team to New Balance Nationals, where they perform at the national level. You can see them in the top right picture, standing next to Quincy Wilson, who competed in the Olympics and won a gold medal. So truly a feat. Spring tryouts for the spring season began Monday, and we offer boys volleyball, boys and girls outdoor track and field, baseball, softball, and tennis. So keep an eye out for some really good performances in all of those team sports. I couldn't find any pictures, but not too long ago, the junior class held a pep rally where the entire school came together and we recognized all of the winter sports. We had fun games like musical chairs, dizzy bat races, and even a dunk contest. The Brockton High School pep band, cheerleaders, and step team did an amazing job performing as well. I wanted to highlight this as part of the sports program because we recognized all of the sports and the captains, and it was a really nice event to be there. Moving to other half of the school and fine arts, where we are now. They've been putting on a show lately with their performances. Jazz won gold at the state level, Mass Association of Jazz Educators competition on the 14th. 2 notable players were Andrew Bassett and Clayton DeGracia. I heard bits and pieces of Andrew's solo, and the jazz band is truly a sight to see, an amazing performance. The drama club performed Love by the Boat at Brockton High School this past weekend and came just shy of advancing to the state finals, but they did an amazing job in the competition, and we're watching them as part of our Term 3 honor roll assembly, I believe, so I'm really looking forward to that. And we also have our choral program concert going on right now. Moving on to DECA, a class at Brockton High School traveled to the state's convention in Boston after qualifying from districts. Myself and 4 other seniors competed in business role plays, testing our business knowledge. I want to bring up the idea to the committee to allow lower classmen to participate in this program. And through a problem that we'll see in a little bit, where currently it's a senior-only class, students will benefit from having 4 years of experience, marking their performances, competing with other programs that start at such a young age. One main reason we find trouble in this is being able to afford the trips. So we currently go for free, but having more students would not allow us to do that. So more funding and a little bit more attention to the program may be beneficial to the students going into the business world. As we're only allowed to have it as a senior program, and it's involved in the CTE program as well. So it's only going up from here and growing. Moving next to TRIO, another career development program. I want to share another. They're taking the many college trips for free, which is a really good opportunity for students. This is a picture of me last year at UMass Amherst, and I think more than 5 students in this picture actually wound up attending UMass Amherst. So you can definitely see that we're going to really good schools and people are loving the tours that they go on, and it's a really good resource, and they're actually winding up going to these colleges. Moving on to the Athletic Leadership Conference, we brought 22 of our student athletes to participate in a workshop at Durfee High School. They collaborated with a bunch of other student athletes from the Big 3 conference on themes such as leadership, sportsmanship, and teamwork. I went to this last year, and Amari Pearson was our guest speaker, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot, an overall great way to develop our future leaders. Next up is National Honor Society. They've been on a roll with service projects. I personally took part in a school-wide rock, paper, scissors tournament dedicated to raising funds for the chapter, but we can see a few others such as St. Patrick gifts going out today and Women's History Month fundraisers going out in the near future. And today marks day 17 of the senior class calendar fundraiser. I want to thank you to everyone on the school committee who donated. And it's been a really good way to fund our senior prom, which is coming up on May 8th. Next is the Outreach Club and Peer Mediators. They traveled to the State House for a youth summit with Governor Healy. The Outreach Club brought 20 students, explored the State House, and participated in work groups and small discussions. I know the Peer Mediators also took a trip to BSU and had a really good workshop and convention. I couldn't find any pictures for that, but it was a really good event, I heard. And I want to end it off with a bunch of future events that we can kind of look forward to in the future. The idea was brought up to Mr. McCaskill and the senior officers of a committee in the school made up of students where they can bring up issues and answer them in a committee-like format. This is very tentative, and we don't know exactly what's going to look like. but it may be something to look forward in the future. And we love you guys' support and even insight in what it may look like. Future National Honor Society fundraisers are going to keep on coming on. I know we have an Easter one coming up in the near future. If you guys would like to attend that, I can send dates out. Junior prom will be on May 1st, senior prom on May 8th. Senior prom's a little bit earlier because of the World Cup coming to Massachusetts. Definitely looking forward to that. And the business program, so the business program through the CTE, will be hosting a second networking event. We saw it a few months ago. It was a really good opportunity for local business owners and entrepreneurs to come into the school, and they can kind of network with them and see what it's like to be in a business role and have a business in itself. MCAS will be taking place very soon for sophomores, and I believe freshmen were offering it as well. And Saturday school and SAT prep continues. I think I heard it in the last meeting, but those are both on Saturday mornings. And that concludes my summary. I want to say thank you all for having me. And if you have any questions, I put contact links on the bottom.
Thank you, sir. Great show. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Ms. Oliver.
Mr. Pena had his hands first.
Thank you.
Dark on that side of the room for some
I normally don't comment when you speak, but I have to say that I read the Enterprise, and there was a great article. I didn't even know that. My kids know you. They never told me that. I know your dad's a veteran as well. But for you to choose to come to Brockton High, that is exactly what we want to happen here at this school. And I think, I mean, you answered all the questions I would ever have. I'm sure there's more that I could ask you, but I just want to say that that was probably, I'm not trying to be mean to the Enterprise, I'm sorry, the best article I've seen in a very long time, because it brought such great light to the school, and I truly appreciate it, because it helps me to explain to people why they should come to Brockton High, so thank you.
100%.
Thank you. For the DECA program, why is it only offered to the higher class? Why not the freshmen? Did you say because the money?
Yeah, so I brought it up. So on our field trip, I brought it up to Miss Smalls, who's the director of it. And they've been talking about it with Miss Balboni and the CTE program. And it's been a senior class for so long because we get fully funded for our field trips. So going to districts, they let us all go there for free and compete, and even states for free. If we were to make it nationals, then we would have to pay out of our own pocket. But if we were to add a bunch of more students, that'd probably be around 10 to 15 more, then we wouldn't be able to cover everybody. And there'd be a problem of funding and getting people there. So they would have to pay, but not everyone has the funds to actually pay.
Thank you. The committee of the students that you guys want to put together, is that to basically review what's going on in school, where you want changes, and then come to report to us during our meetings?
Something like that. Yeah, we're still going over exactly the structure of it and how it would work. We kind of took into account maybe it would look something like this, but on the school level, where it would be students, and then other students can come in and speak on what they want, and we can kind of, it'd be something similar to a school committee. But it's still very up in the air, and we're not sure how it's going to work, whether it be an in-class type of thing or after-school activity, and how students are going to get involved.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
Mr. Gomes and then Ms. Isaac.
Mr. Pina keeps stealing my comments, I guess. I was going to bring up the fact that you were featured on the Enterprise and, related to your journey within our schools. But honestly, I would love to give you the floor to give a comment or, related to our schools and how awesome we are for you to choose to come here so other kids, parents, and families can hear the great things that are happening in Brockton and why you made that decision.
Yeah, of course. I think my story kind of started in 8th grade, where I was trying to expand my impact, especially in the service world. And I came from a really small town, 60 students per grade. So coming here with this 750, it was kind of giving me the platform to expand my impact. And Brockton High School has everything it has to offer for free, right? So we have AP and IB curriculum. We have CTE programs. We have D1 sports. We have an amazing fine arts program. And you really can't beat that in terms of schools and when it comes to getting an education for free. And it was just kind of like a clear choice for me, coming from Avon, which is only about 15 minutes away.
And I also love the idea of a school committee for whatever our high school, even other schools that we have, to see what's going on and you guys tackling the issues. And if you need to come to us with things that we can help, feel free to do so.
Now, I want to give recognition. It was actually a junior, Sebastian, who came up by himself and proposed the idea to Mr. McCaskill, and he brought us all into it. So props to him for coming up with the idea and taking action for it.
Ms. Azak.
Thank you. Actually, that was my question. I remember years and years ago, I think it was a monthly meeting, the superintendent, some of us would sit in on it. They'd meet with students and we'd hear from everything from just the basics, lunches to issues that they're running into. So I would love to, maybe start that up again. It's similar to what the students are thinking of. It's like a round table. Just a basic round table. We just sit around. We hear their concerns. Again, the students and the staff are our eyes and ears, and we can't really fix something if we're not aware of what needs to be addressed, or if there's something they'd like to see that we can actually look into and see if we can either get funding or maybe work with Brockton High, Principal McCaskill, and our students. So that's a great idea if we can start that up again. I know that would be nice. And then I ran into someone in a different district. I'm just curious, what do we charge, not to put you on the spot, for our prom, for the junior and the senior prom? Do you know what the cost is? Because, it was pretty hefty. I was standing in line in one of the stores, and the student, I want to say their tickets were $150. That's not including, I'd love to see if we can sponsor students. I'd hate to see a student not be able to attend a prom because of cost. So, do you know offhand, have the tickets come out yet, as far as just a ballpark idea?
Yeah. So senior prom I know is $100, which is pretty good comparing it to other schools where they do get up to $150. We've done some fundraising, so $100 is a pretty good price. I want to say last year junior prom was around $60.
Okay.
So it's somewhat manageable for students. Definitely not reaching towards that 150 plus mark. But I think that would be a good idea where maybe people that qualify for free lunches or reduced lunch can have that resource to get a reduced prom ticket or even free. I know seniors, we do have a fundraiser where they can get a free prom ticket. I took advantage of it where you sell 20 calendars. It's the calendar fundraiser. If they sell $200 worth, then they get a free prom ticket. So there's some resources out there, but I don't think enough. And I think it's a good idea that you brought that up.
Yeah, we should. I would definitely like to see. The calendar idea, I remember that from last year. Just curious, where are they having the junior prom these days? Because I know Lombardo's wasn't just. I'm just curious, where are we? What function facility are we using?
It was at a hotel in Taunton last year.
Oh, okay. So is it the? I think that's where we went for our breakfast. I think I know. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Just curious, but definitely anything that we can do to help our students. I know people watching, I'm always saying I sound like a broken record. People love to donate and help our students out. So we should look into something. It's March. Try to help some of our students out that are working a job to be able to pay for prom and other things. So I'd love to, I'll collaborate. Let me know. Absolutely.
That's a great idea. Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. First of all, that was an unbelievable article. I just want to commend the Enterprise for showcasing. They've been doing some positive stories regarding the schools. And I hope, and I know you're sitting behind me, you can write 10 articles a day on the students here at Brockton High. And I'm pretty sure Kevin McCaskill, the principal, can give you those names. I think you'll get a lot more likes and shares if you have students than the elected officials in the city of Brockton. But if you guys, I challenge you guys to that, to write some more positive stories and bring some more positive light to the city of Brockton. So, but when we talk about the prom, Superintendent, can we consider that enrichment so we can get some funds for them? And, if we can look at something that I know during COVID years, after that, we maybe not talk about where the funding came from, but we actually supported a lot of the students to go to the prom. But I think, if the superintendent can identify some things where we can take some burden off of some of the families, and we don't want a student not to go and enjoy that. So thank you for that.
Mr. Pina, you wanted to close
Yeah,
that?
I just have a question, and it'd probably be for Mr. McCaskill or for the superintendent, but don't we have student government from the freshman year up to senior year, or no? We don't have student government anymore? Junior and senior, okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Sente?
I just want to say thank you for choosing us. I was here in the building, I did a tour, and I left here amazed by all the programs that we offer. And I do hope that we will continue to highlight all the great work and all of the programs that our school offers. So yes to Enterprise, let's continue to highlight the students. Again, I left here calling everybody and said, yes, a lot has happened in the past, but let's focus on the future. So I'm excited to see the grow. And again, thank you for choosing us. So hopefully we'll see more of those articles our way. We will like it. We will repost. Thank you.
Thank you. From my perspective as well, I think we have to focus more on us providing positive news about our community and not rely so heavily on others doing it for us. I mean, we've got a ton of people working for this city, and I'm not saying which side or what, people working for this city that often talk negatively about our schools, about our programs, about our police, about our firefighters. So it's important for us that are within this circle to start leading by example and talk positively about the good that we have going on in the city. There's a lot more good happening in Brockton than the negative that often we focus heavily on. So thank you for doing all that you're doing. Please keep it up.
Of course, thank you.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk. Well, now you're the superintendent for your report.
Oh, it's green.
Good evening, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So I have just a couple of other highlights. I did want to congratulate our junior and senior jazz bands, but I know that Robbie already highlighted the amazing things that they've been doing and how they won their silver and gold medal over the past weekend. Also, it's been in the news recently that autonomous cars are coming to the streets of Boston, and Brockton students may one day be part of that work to build upon and expand that technology. So 15 BPS students got a head start on that this past Saturday when they made the trip to the MIT Beaver Work Center Autonomous Car program. While there, they worked alongside MIT engineering students to build, program, and race autonomous cars. Last Saturday's visit is just the latest in a series of opportunities that BPS students are capitalizing on to explore the tech of the future through MIT and Northeastern University. Also, Brockton High did host its annual college and career fair last month, giving juniors and seniors an amazing opportunity to meet and get to know local employers and admissions officers from colleges and universities throughout New England. Employers represented included local businesses, unions, military branches, and public safety agencies, who, along with the colleges and universities, filled 2 of BHS's cafeterias. Now on to our younger grades. First graders from the Angelo, Raymond, Davis, and Kennedy schools got to have the Children's Museum all to themselves for a private day of fun and learning. Students explored the museum, participated in hands-on activities, and enjoyed a special day together with first graders from across Brockton. The kids were even treated to a pizza lunch and luxury rides to the museum on coach buses. So thank you to the Boston Children's Museum for this unforgettable experience. Also, 5th grade peer leaders at the Downey helped organize a Chinese New Year celebration in lieu of Lunar New Year. They designed and built a breathtaking dragon and took turns parading it around the cafeteria throughout the lunches for all the students to admire. This Chinese New Year celebrates the year of the fire horse, which students learned all about during their library classes with Miss Wakama. All Brockton 8th grade students and families are invited to join BHS for CTE night on March 26th from 5 to 7 p.m. at BHS. Registration is required, and when you sign up, you'll have a chance to choose 2 hands-on workshops to take part in from among BHS's 12 CTE programs. You can learn more about our CTE night as well as our CTE programs and sign up at bpsma.org/CTE night. Space is limited, and we already have, I think, over 40 signups, so please don't wait to sign up. So finally, I wanted to end my update this evening with some information about enrollment and school space. I know the topics of traffic and libraries has been top of mind in conversation, and as we have these discussions, I do want to make sure that we're placing it in the context of our school space issues. On this graph, you can see our overall enrollment over the last 5 years since 2020, which has actually declined over time. However, you'll notice that it has only declined at the secondary level. We actually have 600 more students at the elementary level than we did 5 years ago. So here's that information just presented a different way. Again, you see that overall enrollment, middle school enrollment, and high school enrollment have all been on the decline for the last 5 years. However, our elementary numbers are on the rise. Here you see our enrollment by school, just for elementary, which are in the blue, and middle, which are in the red. You'll notice that Angelo, George, and Raymond are at almost 900 students. I bring this up because I know all 3 of the schools have been mentioned as schools with traffic issues that drop off and pick up. I believe Raymond and Angelo actually were recently discussed at a traffic commission meeting and will be discussed at a future one. And I know we've been talking a lot about the George. And I think it's important to note that this traffic has a lot to do with the sheer amount of families that are coming to these schools within a 10 to 15 minute window in the morning and in the afternoon. And while there are some schools with lesser numbers, they still have had recent increases, which may not be indicated here. But for example, the Hancock, which is at 668 students, that actually also represents an 8 classroom increase over the last few years. So the reason I bring this before you is for your consideration, for your initial consideration, and to start a conversation about school space. As we know, our elementary schools are oversubscribed, which leads to the loss of specialized instructional spaces like our intervention spaces, music rooms, and of course, libraries. At the middle school level, underutilization is also not always the best case scenario, as it can lead to lesser course offerings and limited staff flexibility to provide for team meetings, intervention blocks, etc. So it's as if we are losing on both ends. So I know that there has been discussion about the future, and there's been conversation. For example, we've talked about the Howard School and potentially future projects. However, I did want to bring this before this committee just for your initial thoughts, as it seems we are due for some kind of reconfiguration. These conversations are always hard, and I think that they need to start with all of you as you represent the community and your constituencies. So any decisions we make will have broad impacts. I'm happy to explore different models as the school committee sees fit, but I think it's important for the committee to consider how we want to approach this issue overall. I can bring different options to all of you, or vice versa, whatever is your will. I present this again tonight just for your initial thoughts, just to get you thinking about this topic, and I will place it on the next agenda for formal discussion and even directives from you to me about how you would like for me to proceed. And that is all. At this point, I'll take questions.
Any questions for the superintendent?
Yes, thank you. So the CTE you said was limited, and there's 40 that had signed up already. What's the total number that we can have there?
Mr. McCaskill knows. No, we can.
Just show up, we'll get you.
There you go, okay. Yeah, don't say limited. This isn't a fear of missing out. Everyone show up,
All right.
show up.
Sounds good.
The second thing was, I'm glad you brought up the enrollment. And from what I've seen, I know we're going to talk about this at a later date, but I kind of wanted to put this out there. So why don't we go back to the 4 Compass schools as the middle schools and make the Ashfield and the Plouffe back into elementary schools to level those out? Is it because of the people, the students that are there live in that neighborhood, which I doubt that is true, but is that why, or is it for another reason that we haven't done that yet?
So actually, I know that the Plouffe was originally an elementary school and was transitioned to a middle school. And I think that is actually part of what I want to hear from all of you is what there are several different ideas that we could be thinking about. So that is certainly an option that I could bring before you. Obviously, there's going to be pros and cons to any option, but I think that's sort of what I want to hear from you all is what are some of the things you're thinking about as far as what would be responsive to the community.
Ms. Izak.
Thank you, Superintendent. I know you're going to bring this on, put it on the agenda for future discussion. I know previously, under a different administration, we had talked about the old Shaw School location. If we can look into potential possibilities over there. At one point, we had talked about putting one of those metal buildings, the prefab building, energy efficient, and that would be our pre-K. So there is a lot of land over there. So if we can just, and also the one thing I do find is a lot of times there's discussion. If we could, if you do have potential locations, for those that are interested, maybe we can just set up a site visit prior to the meeting so we can at least have some questions prepared ahead of time. If it is something that's going to be time sensitive in that we do need to act upon if space. I mean, I look at some of these numbers at our elementary schools, almost 900 students. That's just, some towns don't even have that in all of their school districts. So we definitely need to make sure that classroom sizes and our locations are suitable for our kids. So I'll definitely touch base. I do have some ideas, but I know the Shaw School. It's been up there. At one point, I heard they were going to tear it down. I know there's a lot of space back there, a lot of space. So, and that's not on a main road. That would be a good location. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Couple questions. How soon are we looking at this transition or movement or moving schools? Is this something that we're trying to move on quickly, or is this for the following year?
I think this would probably be for the following year. Yeah, so I wanted to start the discussion now because it does take a long time. And once we put together options, depending on what, I hear from the committee, then we would need, you'd want to have town halls. We would want to meet with our unions. It is a long planning process. And so that's why I wanted to bring it to you all initially for discussion, but it would probably be for not next school year, but the year after.
Okay. I know that we had took up a vote to request the Howard School to return back to the school district. And I remember, Mr. Mayor, when you were the council president, me, you, and a couple other folks did take a tour. It's cheaper to kind of rehab that than to try to build a new school. The funding source is kind of tight and how we can plan that out, because if we piggyback to when we kind of did some internal work at the current Huntington, the Promise School, we saved millions of dollars trying to get that open. And I think this is another one of those cases where, school side, city side can work to try to bring that school back online. If we're planning something within 2 years, that's more than enough time to get that and identify some funding sources. One of the, and Mrs. Azak, there was, I remember it was like year after year we were voting to, kind of like restructure and move programs around. And it was, I understand enrollment, tomorrow the numbers can drop. We understand that it could get even higher, but it's just, it got frustrating when we were looking for space and you're moving one program, from the Promise started at one location, then went to another location, went to another location. We got rid of the public safety building sits there now. We move one program into there, they're in there suitable, and then they move into another, come in here, and then they move into it. It's just like this repetitive thing. It's just like you have a program that doesn't really have its own identity to say so. But I just don't want, this is going to be working for us for this period of time, and then you're moving again. because it does come with the heavy cost and unspent funds that could have been allocated elsewhere, knowing that you're only in a building for 2 or 3 years, and then it could have been long-term planning. So hopefully, I know this is early on, that we can do like a real, I know we spoke about this and kind of what works and what doesn't work for us moving forward with space. So how much space do we really need? And the other thing too is that, we're in the middle of a megalodon of a project here at the high school, and that this project has to get done no matter what it is. Whatever it takes, we have to make sure that this project does, because these students do need it. And it's not just the high school. Our middle schools are older than the high school itself. So we have to come with a comprehensive plan. Mr. Vice Chair, you chair facilities, so we need to come up with what's the word I'm using there for the capital improvement plan moving forward, so the city has a long-term plan of how to finance this and moving forward. So, thank you.
Ms. Centello and then Oliver.
Speaking of elementary, like we did see the numbers continue to go up. One of the schools that I represent is a Downey school, right? And they're still having pots, right? So how can we make sure that the students are going there that are actually walking into a classroom? We have kindergartens. Naturally, they are allowed because they're at the age developmentally. And yeah, they are in just how is the best way for me to describe this? Right, but I want to make sure I'm giving a visual, because I didn't know what a pod was. Right, I feel like it was
It was an open concept open concept school. So now, there's the partitions, but that don't go all the way, I believe, to the floor, to the ceiling. And I know that there is a plan to make sure that those are. So last summer, for example, our amazing internal team actually built walls at the Raymond. And so there were plans for this summer, I believe, to do the Downey, but they've been kind of going back and forth on making sure to build walls in the different sections. But yes, you're right. There was a pedagogy or fad back when on the open concept school. That's actually the kind of elementary school I went to. And I think they realized that maybe isn't the best model. So now we are left trying to refab these buildings to meet our needs.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the dividers was bookshelves.
Right.
And I was walking in trying to put the kids' backpacks in there so they're safe to walk. And speaking of the champion, they've been housed. They've been to many other placements. So hopefully as we continue to talk about school placements, that they have a house and that the school is their school, and for also the teachers, for them to know, you guys are here to stay. I'm sure some of them is feeling where am I gonna go next year? Are we gonna get moved again? And that's early during the subcommittee meeting, we talked about facilities, and when I talked about a gym space, when I was there, exposure or what they have for a gym, it should not be what we could offer them better. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver.
Great idea. I agree with everything you said. I think the one worries that I have with the Howard School, we need to look at the traffic safety, especially now that we have issues with the other schools, Angelo, and especially where it's located. I think that's going to be a more very deadly intersection that we have to look at, and just basically make sure we're crossing all our T's and dotted I's, that if we do choose that school, maybe have a walkthrough with some of the members and also the city officials to basically make sure that's not going to be another Angelo with safety wise, picking up, dropping off. So I think that's something that we need to look at. And I think what came about when I first started the moving of schools, I think my opinion, I know we voted on and we moved different schools to different areas, and a lot of my anger and frustration then, it was almost rushed. And I think that you're starting it early. It gives us an idea to look at all different aspects, different locations, safety wise. Do we have rooms? What grades is going where? and not be rushed like we were when I first got on the committee. And I think it was just pushed, and it was like, that is the bread, and that's what we need to do at this moment, at this time. So I do truly appreciate that you're giving us over a year or two to look at every areas and how it's going to best benefit our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gomes?
Thank you. I'll try not to repeat what has already been said. I appreciate that you're bringing this up, and I like the fact that besides just space, it also speaks to safety, traffic issues. Because if you look at a school with 900 kids compared to a school with 300, 400, 500, there's going to be an expected traffic issue or spacing issue. I think all my colleagues have mentioned that there's a lot of different routes we can take. This is not, it's an issue that we're facing, it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity for us to look at options. We've been talking about the Howard School. We've requested back from the city. We're waiting for the mayor to make a decision. Whether we have to restructure, repurpose some of the schools, how we're using our school, our facilities, or looking at other spaces. Those are some of the things we have to start thinking about now. It will take time. It will take a lot of back and forth and looking at this, looking at traffic, safety, and all these other things to put it together. And also looking at capital improvement. Where is the money coming from to renovate, to do all these things? So I'm glad that you brought it up, and it might resolve some of the issues that we've raised in the past about safety and traffic issues and other concerns. So, and Mr. Mayor, look at the Howard schools. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor knows exactly where the Howard School is because I used to live right around the corner from it. So, Mr. Rodriguez.
Just one thing, like when we're looking at this restructuring, we talk about traffic. You know, you have students that live on the north side of town coming to the south side of town. And I think that a lot of that traffic, if we can actually look at that or see, you know, which families are driving in, because that's causing the traffic. Because if you go back to the neighborhood schools, I mean, this is the most diverse community in the Commonwealth. And we, you know, it's like we're trying to desegregate when we don't need to because we're already diverse. We've already hit that benchmark. So I think that's a deeper dive because it's not just the traffic issue, but it also affects our transportation with all the buses that we have. So there could be a lot of savings in that sense. So I think when we look at where we're going to move, look at the, you know, how long does it take? I don't know. To bring back the neighborhood schools. Back then it was different, but I think overall, if we're going to look at redistricting or whatever, moving certain programs or schools around, I think the neighborhood school model should be looked at a lot closely, what the cost savings would be on transportation and also working with the traffic and seeing where these families are coming from now that's causing all this traffic issues within the city. Thank you.
Go ahead.
And I can provide more specific data around this, but I do know that when we do assign, we do it based on zones so that you are going to schools in closer proximity to you. Still, of course, that requires buses because we have certain mileage that you can't go over in it's a big city, so you still do have transportation, but also a lot of times some of the transportation that may be happening out of zone is for specialized programming. But I'm happy to bring more of that data to you, but we do try to, as much as possible, stay within the zone.
Anyone else? Madam Mr. Zach, go ahead.
Actually, the superintendent touched base on it. For years, it's been repetitive. Neighborhood schools. We got to go back to neighborhood schools. I mean, this goes back to when I first got on the committee. It would help us with our transportation. I know when I went through Brockton Public Schools, I went to Franklin, I went to North, and I took a bus to Brockton High. And that's how it was for everybody in our neighborhood. Nowadays, the superintendent did touch base because we do have different programs at different schools. And I know Brookfield offers certain programs that are not offered at other schools. So we do have students that do come out of Ward 6 to go to them. So, but again, it's just the neighborhood schools. We're on repeat. If we can focus more, try to get back to that as our main, it takes years. It took years to go out of the neighborhood schools. It's not an overnight fix, but if we can try to just stay focused on keeping them in the neighborhoods, if they can go to those neighborhood schools. And a lot of times they're maxed out. I mean, look at those numbers. It's amazing. But it's amazing we have so many students, but our schools can only hold so many students for safety purposes. So, but no, thank you, Superintendent.
Go ahead, Ms. Cynthia.
I feel like this also, before we was able to walk to school back in the days, when I spoke with the baker, that's the issue. So we're having more parents that are driving their kids in. So I also think when we are building new building, that we are thinking of long term, that we're thinking about how parking lot are looking like. So at the baker, the parking lot is a hot mess. But when I spoke to them, the issue is that even though we have our students in our zones, the issue is we're having more parents that are driving our kids. And I am one of them, Mom, that I don't feel comfortable with sending my daughter to walk to school alone.
Why not? I just want to caution us all because what I saw up here is a good problem to have, which means that our system is growing, which means that our city is growing. And let's keep in mind that the elementary students of today, our middle schoolers of tomorrow, and high school students of next week. So I think the idea of us looking at, perhaps the Howard School, which is closer to being acceptable or being able to receive students, might make sense. The Shaw School that we had, that you mentioned, Ms. Azak, is probably going to cost us an arm and a leg to do, and it probably would be a total rebuild, because that school right now, I think it's basically condemned of a building. So if we did something, it would be on the grounds of the school, but not necessarily at the school. But I think, as Mr. Rodriguez was saying, I think it probably would make more sense for us to go to school that is closer to being ready. That intersection is actually, we're working on that to minimize traffic in that area. And I think we can put our minds together to come up with a solution how to divert buses into maybe the parking lots instead of putting them on the main roads, because that's one of the problems that we're having at the Angelo School, is that the buses are actually stopping on the road itself, causing a major traffic jam. And I heard it the other day from the Montello business group that I went to meet with, that they were really concerned, between the drop-off times and the pickup times, where it's causing some major problems up in that area. So that's something that we need to address. But I think, maybe some sort of, a mini little retreat for us just to sit together and discuss these issues might be a good idea, where we can just talk freely. We don't have to worry about cameras being there, and kind of toss these ideas back and forth until we come up with a solution. Might make some sense. And I think we need to do it soon rather than later, because those numbers are going to continue to grow. So we probably need to do that.
Chair, just a point of clarification. I wasn't asking to rehab the Shaw School. At one point, I thought it was marked with an X and it was going to be demolished by the city. So we had discussed under a separate previous administration that they were going to look into I don't want to call them a metal building, but it would have been either 1 or 2 floors, energy efficient, things like that. The Shaw School, I thought that was going to be a tear down.
It is.
Yeah. No, we're not rehabbing that. Just clarification, those that are watching, I am not saying bring the Shaw School back online.
Yeah.
No.
I'd like to, but I don't think we can.
No.
Go ahead.
I would just say, like, any of the members, if you want to just connect with Ken Thompson and take a tour of the Howard School, you can see for yourself. It's myself and
I think
the
the keys
mayor. We taught a couple of schools.
I think the keys are actually with the commissioner of buildings and stuff.
Yeah, so it's the cost
I
effective
think it's
way
the closest to a school ready that we can probably get to.
right now. So I don't think that we have.
And
hundreds of millions.
Madam Superintendent, when you said the next year, or you're talking about the next school year or the following school year?
Yes, so not this fall.
27.
Yeah, 27, 28.
All right. Thank you for your report, ma'am. Next item, please.
Thank you. Item B is discussion and potential vote to transfer funds for the April Acceleration Academy. So generally, this Acceleration Academy is funded by a DESE grant. However, that grant was not put out this year. I do appreciate that it was mentioned at the last meeting. And because of that, we did look into what it cost last school year and if it would be possible for us to put our own funds towards it. And so that's why I have in front of you a piece of paper that says April Acceleration Academy on it. It gives you the blurb of what our April Acceleration Academy model was from last year. So if we were to replicate that, the different cost of the literacy teachers, the program supervisor, a nurse, everything up to materials, and the cost would be $29,000. And so if the committee was willing, I was respectfully requesting that there be a transfer of funds for April Acceleration Academy of $29,000, and that would come from the school committee line where the net school spending carryover was, to the other teaching and learning line, which right now has a zero balance, but if funds were approved, we would then retitle that line to April Acceleration Academy.
I would like to entertain a motion that is it to make a motion or to discuss it?
Before the motion.
All right, go ahead.
So just for clarification, so this isn't not for 1 through 5, it's just 3 through 5?
So it's the model that we ran last year, which is grades 3, 4, and 5. They would all be housed at one school, which is the George over the April vacation, but they would come from the various elementary schools.
Can we add a second one with 1, 2, and 3?
So
two.
That's a great question. So the reason we actually decided on this model is because we already have the job descriptions. We already have just a whole plan because you also have to bus the students.
Future, maybe we could.
So absolutely,
Okay.
we would like to be able to expand this. So I appreciate that it was brought up because I do think it's a great idea and we should be running an April Acceleration Academy. And if we were maybe 2 months earlier, we would have done all of it. But I do again appreciate the suggestion. And so this is the model we can get up and running the quickest.
And just one more, should we add a little bit more for like advertising or anything like that? Or is that something that is taken out from another?
That will be taken out of the communications budget. We have other lines that
Okay,
we
just to
can
make
pull
sure.
that from.
And do you know the amount, how many kids this would service? How many students?
That's a great question. I don't know how many we served last year, actually.
Probably about
100.
Probably 100.
Okay.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Question or are you going to make the motion?
Well, the question is maybe you can find out, like, how are the students going to be selected for this program? Because we know that there is pretty much a majority, there's a lot of students that can benefit from this program.
Absolutely. So we target specific students, and then it's about the parents' willingness. So there is a process for student selection.
You're good? All right,
What if we were to open it up to everybody though, to as many as possible?
That's a great question. Actually, I don't know.
If we can,
If we get the staff. I think that's the thing too. It's
Staffing.
about how many staff we can actually have. So this is what we were able to run last year. Thank you. Seth.
yes, so sorry, I apologize. It would be dependent on staff. If we can recruit the staff, we could certainly expand the program. And because in the way that it's structured, it would just be dependent on the number of staff that we could get, but we would welcome all students, absolutely, as many as we could.
And you could just then come back and ask us for more funds at that point, correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you. That is Assistant Superintendent Karen Spalding, grades K to 8. Thank you.
So it's too late for this year, but for next year, we can open it up to everybody.
And we can certainly also build it into the budget for next year. Now that, I think we have maybe made the wrong assumption that grant would be available every year, but since it was not this year, I think we should plan ahead that it won't be for next year and allot money towards it.
Okay. Mr. Orders.
So the transportation of the students is on the parents, not Oh, that's correct.
So we do require buses, so they would go to their school and then be bussed over. Is that correct? Yeah. So their neighborhood or their typical school to be bussed to the George. So this does not include the transportation budget, but that, again, was something that we spent last year as well. And I am giving a transportation presentation next Tuesday that will go through all of our transportation costs.
I would ask just that if you can, just so that we can fully fund this, can you put that together so that we can approve it, so that we can take those funds out so that we don't have any issues?
Absolutely. We were trying to figure out exactly how much it would cost, but we weren't sure exactly how many students were going to be coming in
Right,
from
so it
which
might have to be an
schools.
after the fact.
Yeah, so I can let you know after the fact. And again, since, we are going to do a better job of disaggregating those costs and identifying them moving forward, because it should have been easy for us to just look backwards and see how much it cost last year. But as you know, we're still working through some of those historical budget issues.
I'd like to make a motion.
I wasn't even.
I'd like to make a motion to transfer funds to the April Acceleration Academy in the amount of $29,000.
Second.
Okay, now on the motion, go ahead.
Disregard.
Okay.
You sure?
Anybody else? Any other discussions on this? All right, Mr. Pina,
Yay.
Ms. Isaac,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Oliver,
Yes.
Mr. Gomes.
Yes.
Ms. Centello.
Yes.
6 in the affirmative. You've got your money.
Thank you so much.
Next item, please.
Item C is items to refer to subcommittee.
Are there any items that we would like to refer to the subcommittees? Ms. Oliver.
Just a heads up, we did plan another mental health and well-being meeting for the second week in June to review the SEL screening data and also the MTSS programming for 2025, 2026. And also in the making, we are planning ward meetings, every ward, to go over different partners that we have that works with our schools and also our students in the district that has to do with mental health and well-being.
So is that an item that you want to send to a subcommittee anywhere, or
I'm planning the meeting.
are you planning?
Put it on the agenda so we can pick a date. I will send it to the members, date and time.
All right. Are there any items that we want to ship to a committee? Mr. Pina?
Well,
You
I
good?
didn't raise my hand.
Go ahead.
He didn't raise it.
I'm shocked. Well, go ahead. Okay, next item, please.
All right, Roman numeral 4 is the consent agenda. Ms. Oliver.
Okay.
Hola.
Ms. Oliver.
Can I take C out so I can discuss a little bit and we can vote on the rest?
A motion has been is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been properly made and second to take C out of the consent agenda. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? It carries. Anything else? Any other items?
Come on, C.
So I'll read the rest of the items. A is approval of the regular school committee meeting minutes March 3rd through 2026. Item B is approval of accounts review subcommittee meeting minutes March 3rd, 2026. Item D is acceptance of a donation BHS Art Department. Item E is request for authorization to accept proposal and expenditure of funds for Davis Elementary School Park Court renovation for $50,000. FY26 FC 542 Summer Food Service Program, SFP Eats for $13,340. And Brockton Cultural Council FY26 Local Cultural Council Ashfield for $2,274.
Motion to approve consent agenda with the exception of item C.
Second.
A motion has been properly made and second. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? It carries. Numeral 5.
Roman numeral C is approval of mental health and well-being subcommittee meeting minutes from March 10th, 2026.
Just to go over a little bit about the mental health and well-being subcommittee that happened on March 10th. For those who did not get to watch, we had Christy Glenn, CEO of the Pinnacle Partnership, that reviewed all different service that is being provided to our students, different partnership that they've been doing for years with Brockton High School, and definitely with neighborhood health also being involved. That's been supporting our students. I wanted to continue working with them and also ask them to be here the next school committee meeting to talk a little bit about what they offer to our students, what they've been doing for the past few years that's been in Brockton High, and basically bring more information so everybody on the committee can be aware of what they've been working and helping our student been handling lately. So I appreciate her and her team for working very closely with our principal and our students with the mentor and all the programs they've been offering.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody has any questions for Ms. Oliver? Hearing none. Next item, please, ma'am. Now it's numeral 5.
Roman
No.
numeral 5.
We
Yes.
gotta do a motion to approve, C, approve of
this-
mental health and well-being subcommittee meetings for March 10, 2026.
Second.
All right, a motion has been properly made in second. I'm a little off today. I don't know. I hadn't get much sleep, but that's what the problem is. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? It carries. Now, can we do numeral 5?
Yes, Roman numeral 5 is unfinished business.
Are there any unfinished business? Anything that we need to discuss?
Yeah. Roman numeral 7 is new business. The first item is discussion and potential vote for the disbanding of subcommittee grievance non-certified.
Motion to disband non-grievance certified subcommittee.
Second.
A motion has been, any discussions? Okay, a motion has been properly made in second to disband that subcommittee. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? It carries. It shall no longer exist. Next one, please.
Thank you. Discussion and potential vote for the disbanding of the Advisory Committee for Community Schools. In front of you, you actually have the community schools bylaws for the advisory board. And so you just received this today, and I'd like to give you an opportunity to review it and also to look back at the historical context of this advisory board, which I believe existed back when community schools was structured in a slightly different way. We're also gathering information from the Director of Community Schools, Soraya DeBarros, and so we'll be providing that information to the committee as well, so that can all be taken into consideration as we discuss this advisory board. So at this point in time, I was just hoping we could postpone this item.
Motion to.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone this
Second.
for a later date.
A motion has been properly made in second. All those in favor of postponement? Anyone opposed? Postponed it is. Next item, please.
Thank you. And the final item under new business is discussion and potential vote, and that is approval to hire the supervisor of attendance, Melissa Freeland. So as you all are aware, and as is in your packet, MGL does require that certain positions are approved by the school committee, and that includes the superintendent, assistant superintendents, the director of special education, and also the athletic director, and another one of those is the supervisor of attendance. So you have that regulation in your packet. You were also in receipt of Melissa's resume in your HR packet this week.
Go ahead, Mr. Pino.
Are we able to ask questions about the candidate now, or are we?
Yes, and I can answer them the best I can.
All right. Based on the resume provided, can you clearly state how this candidate meets the statutory and practical requirements of enforcing attendance law in Massachusetts?
So I do know that they have experience as a supervisor of attendance, and the process that the committee went through is that we did post the position. There was a resume review, and then candidates were interviewed, and this was the candidate that was chosen amongst the committee. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does, yeah. I'll move on to the next one, though. This role requires enforcement of activities such as locating truants, conducting home visits, and working in the field. Can you point to a specific experience in the candidate's background that demonstrates they have done this type of work?
So I believe that is part of their previous experience that was indicated on their resume. I was not in their interview, so I wouldn't be able to speak to specific questions they may have answered. I'm happy if you all want to send me questions to certainly get you responses.
All right, I'll submit the rest of the questions to you, but can you just answer who, under the structure, how does this is a backfill of a position, so who does it report to in the structure?
So this position would report to Shauna Gray. The position itself, so we have had an attendance office in the past. I believe there have been several positions and there has been churn in that department. So we did need to repost the position, and that position, the attendance officer position, has not normally come in front of this committee. So my goal in creating the supervisor of attendance was to create a position that is more in line with MGL. So when we posted it, we did not post the attendance officer that we've had in the past. We posted for a supervisor of attendance. So we looked at job descriptions that were more aligned to what other districts do, that was more aligned to the Mass General Law, and that's what we posted, and that's how we determined which candidates moved forward. Generally, in these positions, they go through the appropriate verification. They go through their queries, their background checks. They've already been interviewed by the committee and the person who would be supervising them. So in my role, I take their recommendation and put it forward to the committee.
All right, and so who evaluates the position then? Is it the?
Would have been the supervisor, which would be Shauna Gray.
Okay. Given the enforcement and legal nature of this position, can you explain why it's placed under the special education instead of a more compliance or operational compliance-focused structure?
So it's actually part of the Office of Unified Student Services.
Oh,
So
okay.
that whole department, Shauna Gray is in that department.
Okay.
So that whole department reports to Dr. LaBellois.
Okay. And then I just wanted to make a statement that from what I had read from the position description and from the resume, I just want to make clear my concerns as we move forward, that this is not a minor administrative role. We've had issues with absenteeism and truancy in the past, and this position sits in the intersection of attendance enforcement, student accountability, and coordination with families, courts, and outside agencies. If we are serious about improving outcomes, this is a critical function of the district. Based on what has been presented, I am not convinced that this candidate's background reflects the level of experience required for a position of this importance, particularly when it comes to enforcement work, personal oversight, and day-to-day operations. I am also concerned about where the position is placed within the current organizational structure. From what we've heard, it's not clear that there is a strong direct oversight mechanism in place to support, guide, and hold this role accountable. That raises real questions about how effective this position can be regardless of who fills it. In my view, this is not a role for someone to grow into. This is a role that requires a seasoned professional, someone who has already done this work, understands the legal and operational demands and in a district this size, and can step in and produce results immediately. Placing someone without the level of experience into a position this important, particularly within a structure that lacks clear and strong oversight, sets both the individual and the district up for failure. For those reasons, I have serious reservations about this appointment.
So duly noted. I will say that we are required to have a supervisor of attendance so that we can have that person attend court sessions. So this is an area, and I will say that our attendance office is one that we need to rebuild back up. And we have had some churn there. And for a district this large, I believe we have 2 right now. We used to have 5. We do our best to recruit the best candidates. I feel confident in this candidate, but I also do feel feel like the operational needs of the district require that we move forward with candidates that have been positively recommended by those who interviewed them.
Madam Superintendent, how many candidates did you get?
Thank you.
That I don't know.
That was my question as well. How many candidates did we get?
And who were the interviewers, do you know? Could you just?
I don't know. In the future, if you send me these questions ahead of time, I'm so happy to get you this information.
Yeah.
I did send you the packet ahead of time. I sent the job description, the resume. I would be happy to be more prepared to answer these questions in the future. And I do try to provide the information ahead of time so that these questions can be sent. So thank you. I appreciate the efficiency, the attention to efficiency moving forward.
Ms. Cynthia, go ahead.
And for this position here is going to be a lot of family interactions, right? So when I was looking at the language skills, I was disappointed it says no language skills. I do wonder, does she speak another language? Because Brockton is very diverse and that's the students that we have. And you did mention that we have 2 right now. So do we have...
There is language capacity, yes. So this person needs to be somebody who can represent us in court.
Okay, thank you. That's great to hear.
So not necessarily to work with the families directly, but more to represent the district in court.
I mean, it should be both, but yes. I mean, it should be following up on attendance, making sure there are structures to track attendance and to also to track the systems that we are using in our schools. So to be able to support principals and schools with how we are following up on students that have chronic absenteeism.
Mr. Gomes, did you want to?
What's the urgency of this vote? And then is this something that you definitely recommend?
Yes, I definitely recommend it. And as per Mass General Law, it should not be unduly denied by the school committee when a recommendation is put forward.
You have
Go ahead, Mr. Vino.
You mentioned that she had been in this position in the previous, the resume that you sent us doesn't have that.
Or that she had done comparable work, I believe.
It doesn't have any of that.
Okay.
Mr. Rodriguez.
One of the components, Mrs. Azak, was on the committee, and obviously Anna actually went to the MASS conference and actually presented on the behalf of the school committee. When I got on the committee, there were only 2 truants officers that we had for the district, and then when you look at the absenteeism rate so high, it's just like, it's kind of like a disservice. It actually, I don't want to say motivated in the sense, but, we drafted language that went to it's currently at the legislature to raise the age of dropout, which affects the truancy law. And this is not to put talk negatively, but the district kind of neglected that department and kind of since you went from 2 to 5, now it's down to 2. The superintendent knows I've been on this, like, what does how would that truancy department look like? What is the number? We focus on the experts of doing that, but I understand some of Mr. We've talked. I spoke to the vice chair and also to Mr. Pina about this. When I look at the resume, when you look at some of the qualifications, somebody who has a background in law enforcement, which the individual does have, and certain, working in the court system. My thing that, I question is, as a state employee, I wouldn't be leaving a state agency to come and work for Brockton Public Schools, and then jumping into a non-union. But that's that individual, if they choose to do that, like, that's something I question. And hopefully this individual knows that this is not a union position, that, tomorrow they could be let go with that. So, like, those are the things that jump out at me. If, I wasn't in this interview panel, and if I was, I would be asking, why would you leave a state agency to come and work for this district? Everybody has their goals of where they want to go. So, but
So if I may,
the recommendation, it's the recommendation of the superintendent, and however the body votes.
and if I may step in, there is relevant experience as an associate court officer and also a corrections officer. They talk in their cover letter about a strong foundation in the criminal justice field, hands-on experience in corrections, court systems, and I'm not specifically sure about their personal, what their aspirations are. But what I will say is that leading a district this large with 3,000 employees and 100 certified vacancies, and this isn't a certified position, but the operational needs of this district are great, and there is a hiring shortage in all school districts, and I would never want to discourage someone who is interested in working in our school system or judge their aspirations moving forward, and would hope that the school committee would do the same.
And this is someone that you recommend?
Correct. Otherwise, I would not have put it before you.
Well, you still have to ask.
You have a question? Go ahead.
Ms. Azak, go ahead.
Thank you. Superintendent, I apologize. I don't have the job description printout in front of me. The qualifications, associates or bachelor's? I know they're working towards their bachelor's, so I just...
Sorry, can you say that again?
The requirement for this position.
So I did send you all the job description.
Yeah, I just don't have it in front of me.
I can look it up if you would like me to get that.
It's layered. It's layered. So if you have experience in criminal justice, that's experience.
It is, yeah.
Adjustment counselor, psychology.
Well,
certain
I'm just curious, Superintendent, that's all.
Yes,
Because they're
I
working
can-
towards it, and I'm just curious to see, because it looks completion of 2027.
Sorry, it's taking a minute to load.
It's okay.
There's no educational requirement for this position.
Do you remember?
Well, we have job descriptions. I'm just curious what the job description states. I mean, that's all.
All right.
Were you able to review it when I sent it, or no? Sorry, it's loading right now.
I was actually looking for it.
I sent it to the committee on Saturday when we were meeting, and you
It's
had
in our
asked me for
packet.
it.
I've been looking in my packet. I haven't been able to find it. I was just curious if it. Yeah, that's all. Just associates. I mean, if we have job descriptions, it states this is what the qualifications are. It's just a standard question, basic question. Associates, bachelor's, master's, doctorate. What is required for this position? I know that they're working towards completion. We just want to make sure if there is a requirement that they complete that. That's all.
Go ahead, Mr. Bean.
Just a point of information, I was asked previously not to submit questions, so I asked the questions here, and that's why I did. Just wanted to make sure we understood that.
Questions about the items on the agenda and the materials that are sent are always welcome for us to answer. And that's why we send the materials and collect them for you ahead of time. The supervisor of attendance, it does not,
Required.
there is not a requirement. Let's see.
So they could do this with a high school diploma?
Correct.
Okay. That's all. I just wanted clarification.
It's sorry, Chair. I mean, you reviewed it, but you want to have somebody that has that some type of experience in what's listed in the job description, where the superintendent just indicated. So there's no, I mean, in order for you to become a police officer, firefighter, you just need a GED and pass a civil service test. So like when we're talking about, do you need an associate or a bachelor's? So I see the experience in the law enforcement part of it. So in this job, if members take a deep dive and talk to some attendance officers or truants officers, not just here, 'cause I mean, we only have two, but look at the other districts to see what they do and what their backgrounds are. It's very interesting, to say the least, but this is a department that's been neglected for quite some time, and I put a push on to make sure that it gets fully staffed and we address those needs, because it's not just checking on those while you're going to school, it opens up a lot of doors. You've had, students that have been neglected, and families end up gaining services across the board, as I believe they do fall in as a mandated reporter. So, and I did speak to Shauna Gray, and I know this week she was interviewing numerous candidates to fill in vacancies in that department, and we just have to move quickly.
Go ahead, Mr. Gomes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of supervisor of attendance.
Second.
Motion, any discussion on the motion? Go ahead, Mr.
Just,
Pina.
so this is a supervisory position that needs to be able to deal with data management and actually supervise employees.
So to
It has two
clarify.
employees.
No. So this will be a team of, so I know the supervisor of attendance is a title that Massachusetts uses, but that is a misnomer because it is not somebody to supervise people. Attendance officers, they are supervising attendance. So this will not be a person who is supervising any other individuals. This is the retitling of what we have called an attendance officer that should have been called a supervisor of attendance. Again, just to be more aligned with Mass General Law.
There's a motion on the floor.
All right, motion has been properly made and second. I'm going to do a roll call just to be on a certain side. Mr. Pina?
No.
Ms. Hazak?
Superintendent, this is your recommendation? Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mr. Centeno? Ms.
Yes.
Centeno? 5 in the affirmative, 1 in the opposition. The motion carries.
Just on that, so you understand, like the superintendent said, like that title throws a lot of people off. When you say supervisor attendance, you're thinking you're supervisor. It's just that's what they're supervising the attendance, not like a staff.
Paper,
and all that. Yeah,
basically.
So, I mean, could it change? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we want to call it something else, but I mean that's what's the law. So.
No,
Forward.
just one quick question. I know she's still in school. Is that going to affect her day-to-day here, do you know? You don't know?
No, the requirements of the job, the time requirements of the job are known by the candidate. So I imagine they would not be applying if they couldn't meet those times.
And perhaps what we can do is, like, as we move the person into the positions, probably have the person come here, just kind of make a general presentation to the body, just so that we know what's going on. All right, next item, please. Go ahead, sir.
New business, Chair, I'd like to bring forward a request for consideration. I move that the school committee evaluate relocating its regular meetings to City Hall and utilize the elected officials' chambers. The purpose of this is to ensure appropriate public access, provide a professional and consistent setting for official business, and align our operations with the standard practices of other elected bodies in the city. Our meetings deal with significant financial, policy, and student outcome decisions that impact the entire city. Holding those discussions in a formal public chamber improves transparency, accessibility, and public trust. It also ensures we are operating with the same level of seriousness and visibility as other governing bodies. This is about strengthening this institution.
Are you making that in the form of a motion?
I would like to make a motion that we consider or evaluate relocating our regular scheduled meetings to City Hall.
Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
A motion has been properly made and second. Just before we go forward, there's a whole process that has to be taken into account.
Well, it says evaluate.
Yeah, in terms of discussions with the clerk, since that the councilor's chambers is basically controlled by the clerk of the city, not necessarily by the mayor. There's the JR room, but I think what you're saying is to move it right into the chambers of the council. And on that discussion, we have to have further discussion with them to make
And
sure
just for
that's-
point of clarification, I believe it's zoning and there's some other
We moved
non-elected
some- Yeah, we moved some
in
of
there
those
at
in
that
there as
time,
well.
so
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why there would be an issue.
Right, well, we carry the wishes of the committee, if it passes, we would carry the wishes of the committee to city government to see how we actually can go about doing that. Go ahead, man.
Just on the motion, I think the past few meetings, we've been having a lot of difficulty when it comes to cameras. Mike, I don't disagree with your motion. I think it's a great thing to evaluate. I mean, that is the people's building, and we are having meetings that benefit our students. I think it would be something to definitely consider to like move in there. I know certain people don't want to give up their chairs, but maybe sharing is caring. We can think about it and look at it.
Well, we give up those chairs all the time anyways, because those other groups are meeting
other
there,
meetings,
so it doesn't,
Well, to the school committee, sharing is caring.
of course it is. So, go ahead, man.
Sorry, I don't have a light. Just on Mr. Pina's recommendation, we have met up at City Hall, so it might not be a bad idea for us to sit down, reevaluate it. It might be easier for BCA at times when we can't meet at the high school rather than go to the Arnone School. At least have two locations that we can work out of, because I do know that they do use this room a lot. Our students do, so I think on that motion, I think further discussion to see what we would need to do to probably work with the city on that.
No, I think, I mean, if the committee, I guess if it's the wishes of the committee, it's an easy discussion to have with the folks at City Hall and make it happen if that's what the committee wants to do. It's a lot easier for me.
I think we met in the GAR room not too long ago. We met in the GAR room, which wasn't, we have more of a capacity here for visitors than the GAR room.
The
But
Chambers actually
Chambers
would-
does hold,
Zoning meets there now. We could move zoning over to the GAR room.
Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right, Steve, you know?
I would just also like to say on the motion.
Yes.
That as the mayor contends that we are one city, I
Said.
believe that this is a perfect avenue to make it seem as though.
Agreed.
I agree. A motion has been, anybody has anything else to say on the motion?
No.
A motion has been properly made in second. All those in favor? Anyone oppose? I shall take that and start the discussions, and I'll be happy to inform the committee by the time we meet the next time. Go ahead, Mr. Pino.
I just have one more, and it's kind of new, something I just learned about today. I wanted to bring up possibly evaluating, and I'd asked for BCA to come before us, and I know you said when the new director gets there, but I would like to look at and evaluate the current systems that they use, who controls them, who purchased them, and from my understanding is that it needs to be updated. So I would like to, I don't even know who would look at that. Would that be facilities or who deals with? Somebody help me.
Well, the way the city structure is concerned when it comes to BCA, the city itself basically it has the contract with Comcast. The Comcast provides a certain amount of revenue to the city, from which the city takes about $675,000 and passes it on to BCA for its functionality, for the provision of government, it's PEG, public, educational, and government programming. The city itself retains a little bit of the funds to basically do capital improvements, both at the city chambers, technically in the school departments, to the television program here at the high school, and actually even Massasoit, which falls under that blanket of Comcast provision of programming here in the city.
And I should have been clear when I asked that. That's not, I didn't mean that. What I meant was, so they're using different programs at each spot, meaning how they actually develop and use and record us and change the cameras and all that. All I'm asking for is to have all of them updated to the same program, so that when we have this within our CTE program, we can actually have our students be able to either intern or help with that process and make it easier.
No, absolutely. And that contract is up, by the way, in a very near future. So we have to rediscuss all of that. But BCA right now is basically the one that controls the broadcasting equipment that we use both here and in the chambers. Although the council itself or the city paid for the newer equipment that you see.
Yeah,
in the
correct.
chambers.
And that's what I mean. I think we've all seen some of the issues that have happened. The digging and the information that I've received has more to do with the programming or the actual SaaS product on the computer than it does with the actual cameras or the operators.
Yeah. But if we move the whole thing to Study Hall, then we don't have to worry about at least that aspect of it. But as we go into the new contract, that's something we can talk about throughout the city. Anyone else? Anything else? Next item, then.
Roman numeral 7 is school safety and security. And we have our police liaison report, which I'm asking to postpone. No news.
No news.
That's
No
it.
news
It's
is good
done.
news, right?
Report is done. We'll
Okay,
take it.
or table. All right,
Okay.
okay. Roman numeral 8, announcements.
Are there any announcements that we would like to share with the public and with the committee? Yes, ma'am.
I want to make an announcement that I am having my Ward 5 forum at the Baker on Wednesday, the 25th at 6:30. And we also have our DEI subcommittee scheduled on March 31st at 6 o'clock here.
Mr. Gomes?
In that case, just a quick reminder, we have the safety, security, and transportation meeting on the 24th, and we'll be having a finances beginning of April, just so you guys have that on your radar.
And Mr. Pina?
Just a reminder that we have the policy manual review subcommittee on the 24th before that committee hearing.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Also, I just want to, if you didn't receive it, I'll send it out this evening. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. we have Urban Districts meet and greet. It's via Zoom. I believe I sent it to a few people that are still friends with me on Facebook, the invite to the page. So just make sure you check it out. So it's basically meeting and moving forward whatever topics that you want. Thank you.
They have it.
Anyone else? Madam Superintendent, the next item, please.
We have Roman numeral 9 is executive session, and we have 2 items under executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, for the Brockton Education Support Professional Association, BESPA, and also for the Teamsters Local Union Number 653, International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the school bus drivers. The second item is pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, and that is relating to a transportation grievance.
So I'd like to entertain a motion that we go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session.
Seconded.
A motion has been properly made in second. All those in favor? Anyone opposed?
Roll call.
Roll call. Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. Gomes?
Yes.
Ms. Centeo?
Yes.
All right, we shall go. And there's a potential of us coming back, so we're not going to adjourn the meeting.
Correct.
So now we'll go into executive session and we shall return. All right, we're back on. Thank you. We're on, right?
Yeah.
You're on.
Okay, I'm on. All right, so let's
Bring us back
Resume
into
our
our
meeting.
let me do a roll call, so for us to resume the regular session of the school committee. Mr. Pina,
Here.
Isaac?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Oliver? Gomes?
Here.
Centello, we're back
Here.
on again. Miss Centello?
I'm going to make a motion to approve memorandum of agreement with Teamsters Local 553 bus drivers.
Seconded.
A motion has been properly made and second. How do we vote? Mr. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Isaac? Yes. Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Ms. Centello?
Yes.
All in the affirmative.
I would also like to make a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement between the Brockton School Committee and the Brockton Education Support Professional Association.
Seconded.
A motion has been properly made and second. Mr. Pina, how do you
Yes.
vote? Ms. Isaac? Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Ms. Centello? Oh, you're not voting. 5 in the affirmative with 1 abstention. Do we have any further business that we would like to discuss tonight?
Nope. Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Motion has been properly made and second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment? Anyone opposed? The meeting is adjourned.